Hey, it's Arlesha. I'm a purpose-driven mover and shaker who embarked on a sabbatical for the first time in my career. Welcome to my first podcast. This season, I'm talking about what it means to be on sabbatical, to recharge your life, career, and purpose. Throughout each episode, I'll share gems and insights experienced from my first sabbatical journey in the hopes it'll inspire you to harmonize your life and ambitions. Let's get into it. Around the time I kicked off my sabbatical, I gave a keynote speech at a 40 under 40 event for a local publication called Legacy in the Miami-Fort Lauderdale area. Legacy is like South Florida's version of Black Enterprise magazine, the esteemed, iconic publication known for its profiling of legacy business and Black entrepreneurs. For a professional or executive based in South Florida, to be featured in legacy publication is a star worth receiving and something that's appreciated. In my invite as a keynote speaker to motivate and encourage about 80 young, multifaceted professionals, I selected the topic of staying rooted. It's one of my mantras for life and career. I had an aha moment the other day when it dawned on me that my sabbatical was another extension of this notion of staying rooted. I'm going to share some of the gems from that keynote in this episode with you. I gave you all a rundown of my resume in episode 1, so if you're just tuning in or this episode was shared with you, which, by the way, hello, thank you for tuning in. If you haven't gone back to listen from the beginning, I encourage you to do so. My career in sport has been backdropped by prolific names and vast-reaching markets and territories in a fast-paced industry that doesn't predominantly look like me. I'm breaking barriers in an industry that requires grit, determination, a bit of unbotheredness, and an undeniable belief in self. I quickly realized early on in my career that if I wanted to sustain myself in my industry and excel with integrity and purpose, I would need grounded roots. And this is where the notion of staying rooted comes from. With this mantra, I'm reminding you to continue to spread your wings in life and career, but to stay rooted in who you are as you do so. Your identity is your rooting place. Your life, your career, your business, your family, your God-given purposes may eventually take you miles past where you currently are right now, but the rooting place allows you to strive for excellence with no bounds while keeping you grounded to your why, your North Star, your purpose. It allows you to maintain a strong sense of self and connection to your purpose, the connection that got you started in the first place. And the thing about your rooting place, it'll look different in different stages of life, but you have to honor it nonetheless. In different seasons of your career, you honor yourself in different ways, and I'm doing that in this era of my career by taking a pause in the form of a multi-month sabbatical. Here's a few ways I've remained rooted in my career journey and what my rooting place looks like. Number 1, I stay rooted in my true identity. As the valuable contributor to society that I'm sure you are, I urge you to consider how you ground yourself in your daily life, whether you're in a corporate office, out in the field building, in front of a camera, or behind it. Rooting yourself outside of the confines of your company, your business, or your clientele means understanding who you are, even if your career identity were to be stripped away from you. It's common for people to associate me with various titles and affiliations. My managing this or representing that athlete, GOATs, Hall of Famers, Forbes-ranked companies named after prestige. While the roles and names are admirable, that's not where my core identity lies. My life has always resided in who I am and whose I am. The names I'm connected with are indeed inspiring, but What I take pride in managing or representing is simply the grace and favor of God over my life. I remind myself of this daily. I also try my best to design my life separate from such names or things. They don't have to be my identifiable markers. And with this, I want you to know that I'm not judging. I'm simply making an observation I made over 13 years ago in the early years of my career. There's certain people who have certain associations, and it's actually how they're introduced in this world. It's, hey, look, there goes John who works with XYZ, and that XYZ becomes John's continual marker. In fact, if XYZ were not his client or the company he works for, we don't know what John would stand for in this world. A friend reminded me 2 years ago. She said to me, Arlesha, you can walk into a room and you simply walk in as Arlesha. You're just you. She reminded me to always operate in this world as my true identity, not in the who I work for, nor in the what I do. Number 2, I stay rooted in what nourishes and flourishes my life. When making life and career decisions, it's vital to consider what truly nourishes and replenishes your spirit. Don't only make decisions that are driven by the pursuit of the next achievement. If there's a place that genuinely enriches your life, where you find not only success, but a higher quality of living, make it your home. If it's a community of people that uplifts you and adds value to your life, prioritize your time with them. And if your heritage and culture are sources of nourishment, purposefully choose an environment where your heritage can thrive and is represented. I kept that in mind when the time came to make the move to San Francisco. While I enjoyed my team, the crew I was working with at the time, you all know who you are, the place and setting of the location would have gone against this ethos at this current time. Number 3, I stay rooted in the idea of abundance. When making life and career decisions, it's so important to have an abundance mindset. Making decisions from a place of confidence and self-assuredness, especially when you have a defined and credible work ethic. We talked about work ethic in episode 3 of this podcast. The idea of abundance is somewhat similar to the notions of having a growth mindset. When making a decision to take a sabbatical, I leaned on abundance to give me the confidence to know that I won't miss a beat. My rooting place won't steer me wrong. My sabbatical in this current time is a segment and representation of my rooting place. In your careers and your passions, your ambitions and aspirations, strive to become the best version of yourselves. While your rooting place can provide a source of strength, allow your ambitions to lead you on an exploration of new horizons. Your rooting place will shift with you, but embrace the opportunity to learn, grow, and carry the values and experiences you've accumulated within the different facets of your rooting place. It's a state of mind. It's a way of life. I hope this encouraged you. If you know someone who can use this encouragement or motivation, share this episode with a friend. These gems are for us and for them as well. Download this episode and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on new episodes from this season and future installments of Hey, It's Arlesha. There's more gems to come. You can also find me at the blog counterpart of this podcast, where I go more in depth with insights and gems. Until next time, I am sincerely yours, Arlesha.